Cool. So let's start by opening a YAML file that is using a custom, basically a test API that Morfeu comes with. So let's check it out. So I have this specific YAML here. It's basically a number of API objects and some values. In this case, it's a data object, another data object, and then a data2 object, right? So which is pretty cool. So let's change this here. Let's edit this API object here, new value, which is pretty cool. So that's change, right? So the typical session where we edit some objects and so forth, right? So okay, that's handy. That's the typical interaction. But let's load it in the Morfeu API interface. So I'll open the YAML catalog and then open document number 2, which is the number 1, which is the one we just edited. So there we go. So we have the 3 objects, 2 data and 1 data2 that are loaded within the hierarchy. And also what we have is on the right is all the API objects we have available. In this case, we can see a number of objects we are not using, such as the stuff one. Then 2 data elements, which we are being highlighted, and then a data2 as you see it. And then there's some others that we are not using. Okay, so cool. That's pretty cool. Let's go and edit this particular one with the new value. So as you see, this is the value of the particular object we edited. So this is completely compatible with version control, with YAML editors, with plain text, pretty much, right? So just change it from the. Let's change it, right? So that's kind of as you would expect, and then save. Another item, another feature is that live preview. So let's take a data2 object, which looks a bit different. So, and in this case, this is basically feeding, it's called using live preview, which is feeding the API object values to the original API. And this original API has the chance of interpreting those values and feeding to the user some indication of what would happen or what these values mean, or some kind of preview. So in this case, let's change this. And basically what the backend API system is doing is getting those values in real time and just feeding back live value, right? And feeding back to the user what the outcome would be. In this case, it's just echo, but it could be much more complex as the API developer would see fit. So let's save this here. And cool. The next thing we can do is actually add more elements to the UI. Okay? So I take the API itself and I'll add a data2 object. So what I have is in green the places where I can add new data2 items. In this case, everywhere. So let's add it and let's change some of the values here. The other thing I can do is perhaps add another data2, but in this case, as you see, there is an API limitation where it says that only 2 objects of data2 can be together. So there's no green areas to add a data2, right? This is not the restriction is not in place, for instance, for data. So let's add one more data item just for the sake of it, and change some of the default values, which is quite, what we have. So cool. This looks like pretty complete, but I'll showcase one more feature, which is snippets. In this case, this is a library of pre-created complex objects, right? So real-world APIs are quite complex, so it's quite interesting and quite useful to being able not to create new stuff from primitives, but actually have pre-created complex objects. So in this case, I'll take this one, which is a hierarchy. And as you see, it also showcases in green where this can be added. So in this case, pretty much everywhere. So let's add it at the top. And I have a new structure created, right? So what I can do now is just move things around and basically set up the structure I want, which is this one, right? So that comes quite handy. So cool. And then finally, what I can do is save the changes I've made. This is being saved now, and basically what Morfeu does is checks the new structure and values against the schema. This seems to be okay, no error messages, and then it proceeds in disk, right? So that comes quite handy. And let's go back to the terminal and let's check the file again. And here we go. This is the complex object hierarchy I just created with like value previews, also changes, new objects added, and so forth, right? So, and again, this is back and forth compatible. So I could make changes here and then load it again, commit, revert, and change to a different branch in Git or whatever is needed. So cool. So that's Morfeu in a nutshell.